Welcome to the 7 Easy Steps to the FAFSA, a student's guide to the free application for federal student aid. Let's go over the key points concerning the upcoming FAFSA. First, the FAFSA can be found on www.fafsa.gov. Second, the FAFSA is free. You should never have to pay a fee for filling out or completing the FAFSA. Third, every college and university has their own FAFSA priority deadline. Please check the FAFSA homepage to find your state's published deadline or contact your school's financial aid office to check the deadline they apply. Fourth, FAFSA is now based on prior year tax information. Here is a quick explanation. If you are attending the 2017-2018 academic school year, use tax information from 2015. Before starting the FAFSA, make sure you have these in hand. FSA IDs for you and your parents, Social Security numbers for you and your parents, federal income statements and W-2s, current bank and brokerage statements if applicable. Let's get started. Head to www.fafsa.gov. If you have never completed a FAFSA before, click on Start Here. If you have, choose Login. Once you log in, you will create an FSA ID if you have not previously done so. An FSA ID is an electronic signature meant to verify your identity. To make an FSA ID, complete the following steps. Select the blue link that says Create an FSA ID. You will be redirected to fsaid.ed.gov. Follow the instructions to create your new FSA ID. Remember, you and your parent cannot have the same FSA ID. Your FSA ID must not be shared with other people. You and your parent's FSA ID will be used to sign and submit the FAFSA. We will begin by going over student demographics. In this section, you will enter your personal information. This includes your name, Social Security number, date of birth, a regularly used email address. This information must match the Social Security Administration records. Providing inaccurate information will delay the processing of your financial aid package. Remember that all the information you submit must be as of the date you are completing the FAFSA. Select the option that indicates your current citizenship status. If you indicate that you are not a U.S. citizen, you will be prompted to provide your alien registration number. If you are a male and not registered with Selective Service, select Register Me. Most males are required to register before receiving federal student aid. You can register up to 9 months before your 18th birthday, and Selective Service will hold your information on file. In this section, we will go over filling out your school selection. Before you begin, make sure to have the following on hand: your desired school's federal school code. If you do not know the school code, you can use the search button to find it. Let's get started. In this section, you will be asked to enter the schools to which you would like your FAFSA information sent. For each school listed, you will need to indicate whether you plan on living on campus, with your parents, or off campus. Your housing status is important because many schools use it to determine your cost of attendance. In this section, you will be answering questions which will determine your dependency status. Answer the questions as accurately as possible. If you are considered independent, you are allowed to skip the parent demographics and parent financial information sections. Keep in mind that your school may request documentation to verify your independent status. If you are considered a dependent student, you will need to provide your parents' demographic and financial information. Select I will provide parental information, and you will be directed to the parent demographic section. However, if you believe you have special circumstances that prevent you from providing parental information, you still have the option of submitting your FAFSA by selecting I am unable to provide parental information. If you select this option, your FAFSA will be considered incomplete. You will need to follow up with the financial aid office at your school and provide documentation explaining your special circumstances in order to complete your application. Keep in mind, unless a student can answer yes to one of the dependency questions or can demonstrate other special circumstances, a parent's refusal or inability to help pay for college is not considered to be a special circumstance. In this section, we will be going over parent demographics. Before you begin, make sure to have the following information on hand. Your parents' social security numbers. If one of your parents does not have a social security number, enter all zeros. Your parents' email address, if they would like an email confirmation of your FAFSA submission. The marital status of your parents as of the date you filed the FAFSA, and your parents' current household size. Let's break down what marital status means in FAFSA terms and what information you will report. If your parents are married or unmarried, but living together, you will be required to provide information for both parents. If your parents are divorced or separated and live separately, input the information from the parent you lived with the most during the last 12 months. Other scenarios include if your parent remarried as of the date you filled out the FAFSA, your step-parent's information must also be reported on your FAFSA. If one of your parents does not have a social security number, remember to enter all zeros. To avoid processing delays, do not leave anything blank. Next step, members of your household. Enter the number of family members in your parents' household. What does this mean? You can use a household size worksheet to verify the number in your parents' household. Who to include? Your parents, yourself, your parents' other children if your parent will provide more than half of their support in the upcoming year, and any other people if they live with your parents and your parents provide more than half of their support. The next question will ask who is attending college. Only include any family members who are attending college at least half-time and are working towards a college degree or certificate in the current academic school year. Yourself. Do not include your parents even if they are attending college. Do not include siblings enrolled in U.S. military service academies. Be sure to be as accurate as possible as schools may ask for further verification. In this section, you will fill out your parents' financial information. To make it easier, it has been broken up into 11 parts. Before you begin, make sure to have the following on hand. 1. Correct tax information for the FAFSA application. Remember, this will be 2-year-old tax information. 2. Correct W-2 forms for parents. If your parents are self-employed, they will not receive a W-2. 3. Additional information not included in tax return. Ask your parents if and how much they receive of the following: child support, living allowances, veterans' non-education benefits, any other untaxed income such as workers' compensation or disability benefits. This information will be used later on. As a reminder, correct tax information will depend on the year of attendance. If you will be attending the 2017-2018 academic school year, use 2015 tax information. The FAFSA will ask you if your parents have completed their IRS income tax return, depending on tax information year you must declare. You will also be asked for your parents' filing status. Make sure to verify this information with your parents. This is very important. As you should already have the correct tax information available, we recommend using the IRS data retrieval tool to transfer over your tax information. To use the IRS data retrieval tool, follow these steps. 1. Once you are able to update any tax filing status from will filed to already complete, you will be prompted with a few questions. 2. If you or your parent selects no to all of these questions, your parents will be given the option to enter their FSA ID and link to the IRS. 3. If you choose to use the IRS data retrieval tool, you will be notified that you are leaving FAFSA on the web. Click OK. 4. Now enter the requested information. Be sure you enter all information such as addresses, names, birthdays. This must match exactly with the information on you or your parents' tax return. 5. Click Submit. 6. Once the IRS has validated your identification, your tax information will display. Click Transfer Now and you will be returned to FAFSA. 7. For the IRS data retrieval tool to work, you must return to your FAFSA application to sign and submit it. When returning to the FAFSA, questions that are populated with IRS data will be flagged as transferred from the IRS. Part 2. Enter your parents' filing status. If you use the IRS retrieval tool, this information will already be filled in. As a quick reminder, if your parents are married or unmarried but living together, information from both parents will be required. If your parents are divorced or separated and live separately, input the information from the parent you lived with the most during the last 12 months. Other scenarios include, if your parent remarried as of the date you fill out the FAFSA, your step-parent's information must also be reported on your FAFSA. Part 3. Tax information. Information will vary by type of tax return filed. Remember that if you use the IRS data retrieval tool, these questions will be autofilled. Use the right-hand Help and Hints tool to help you fill out these questions. For example, to find your parents' adjusted gross income, or AGI, if your parent filed a 1040, their adjusted gross income is on line 37. If your parents filed a 1040 EZ, their adjusted gross income is on line 4. Part 4. Parents' wages. These can be found on Box 1 of the W-2 forms received by your parents from their employers. If your parents are self-employed, they will not receive a W-2. Part 5. Dislocated worker. Your parent is a dislocated worker if they meet the following: have lost their job, if they have been laid off, if they received a layoff notice, if they are self-employed but have been unemployed due to economic conditions or natural disasters, if they are displaced homemakers. More information can be found at FAFSA.gov. Answering yes to this question may result in providing further verification to your financial aid office. Part 6. Federal benefits. Answer yes if anyone in your household, parents included, have received any of the federal benefits listed below in the past 2 years. Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, is not the same as Social Security benefits. Part 7. Income tax amount. Let's find it. If your parents filed tax return 1040, the income tax amount equals line 56 minus line 46. If your parents filed tax return 1040A, the income tax amount equals line 28 minus 36. If your parents filed tax return 1040EZ, income tax amount equals line 10. Part 8. Additional financial information and annual untaxed income. For this section, remember to check all that apply. Please be sure to provide annual amounts for each checkbox that applies. Child support. Only include if the child support is paid for children not included in your household. Part 9. Asset amount. You may be asked if your parents' assets exceed a specific amount. Keep in mind, this is unique to every student depending on previously entered financial information. If your answer is yes, you will be asked to provide your parents' asset information. This amount should reflect the values as of the date you filed your FAFSA. Part 10A. Bank accounts. Report the total current balance of all your parents' cash, savings, and checking accounts. Part 10B. Current net worth of investments. This part includes any real estate owned. Do not include the home your parents currently live in, trust funds, money market funds, mutual funds, stocks and bonds, CDs, education savings account such as COVERDELL and 529 college saving plans, even if they are under the student's name. To find the net worth amount, you can do this simple calculation. For a rental property, the current market value minus mortgage debt owed to the property equals net worth. Remember, do not include property value of your parents' current residence, life insurance, or qualified retirement plans. Part 11. Net worth of business or farm. Report the net worth of your parents' business or farm. Do not include value of a family farm if your parents live on and operate it, value of business if it's owned and controlled by your parents and has less than 100 full-time employees. Repeat the steps for student financial information and contact your financial aid office if you have any further questions. In this section, you will sign and submit your FAFSA. To sign your FAFSA, enter your FSA ID username and password. After you enter your FSA ID username and password, you will be asked to agree to the terms specified. If you agree to these terms, select Agree. Next, your parents will be asked to sign the FAFSA with his or her FSA ID username and password. Remember, signing electronically will ensure the timely processing of your FAFSA. If your parents agree to the terms stated, they can select Agree. Remember that by agreeing to these terms, you and your parent must provide any additional information requested by your school to verify your FAFSA application. We recommend you review your FAFSA summary to make sure the information you are about to submit is accurate. Once you have reviewed your application, click Submit My FAFSA now. Congratulations! You have submitted your FAFSA. After submitting your FAFSA, you will get a submission confirmation page. We suggest that you print this out for your records. Your SAR will be emailed to you in about a week. If you do not provide an email address, a paper SAR will be mailed to the address provided on the FAFSA, which could take up to 6 weeks. Remember to contact your financial aid office if you have any questions. You can also contact the Federal Student Aid Information Center at 1-800-4FED-AID. Thanks again for watching this tutorial. We hope it was helpful.